Today we're going to cover riveting brackets onto Corvettes during a restoration. Corvettes are made out of fiberglass. The tub is made out of fiberglass. The inner fenders are made out of fiberglass and things like that. And when you actually try to fasten things to it, there's metal brackets. These brackets go to holding the hood on and the radiator to the inner fenders up front. But even in the floor pans, there's brackets on the back side of the fiberglass to bolt the seats through, and that gives you reinforcement, because if you just had a bolt through fiberglass, it would just pull through. Now, during a restoration, some of those brackets are rusty and they need to be replaced. And in this example, this bulkhead has actually come unfastened, and so these rivets here, this is a supporting material, this is a supporting beam effectively for this chassis, and it stiffens it all up. And just due to time, age, and flexing, these rivets have actually pulled out, and inside there's some brackets that have been actually pop riveted and things like that. So we're going to show you how to not use pop rivets and use these rivets to actually refasten some of these. But you can see that it's all loose, so we need to refasten that, and that'll just help make this car stiffer and will help with stopping squeaks and things like that. The rivets used during restoration for Corvettes have they're made out of aluminum, they have a real thin head and relatively large diameter for distributing the load over everything, and they just have a solid shaft. And these are available from all of your Corvette supply houses. And these are some brackets that actually have the rivets installed. These are the rear body mounts that come up through into the rear housing that need to get riveted. They're going to replace on this. And the terminology used to actually set these rivets is called bucking. And this process was developed making airplanes. All of the skin on an airplane use rivets and they buck them. And the process is you take like an air hammer and you have for what we're doing, we have a flat rivet, so we want a flat face. So you got a flat face here onto this tool, and you put it inside the air hammer, and you put the rivet through the hole. You put this onto the head of it, and on the back side is what they call a bucking bar, and they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, so that way, to gain access, like on an airframe, you might need to get back behind a bulkhead or something. So they use this, and what they are is just a heavy mass of steel, and as this vibrates back and forth with the strokes, it actually mushrooms the rivet and this on the back side, and they compress together and give you a mushroom head on the back side. So it's relatively straightforward, but it's a process that we're going to use to do this. Now, the only issue with this is kind of a two-person operation, because you kind of need to have somebody to operate the rivet gun on one side of the body, whichever side that the head's facing on, and you need somebody on the back side to basically hold this to buck the rivet. But we'll go through the steps and show you that under this video. This set is available from Aircraft Tool Supply, and it's called their economy kit or whatever, but it works really well for how infrequent I use this, and it's all good high quality stuff. And and they give you all of the, you know, if you're setting round rivets, they give you all of the shanks and everything for the different size, diameter heads and things like that. So it's a really nice complete set. So we'll get set up and show you this in action. All right. All the holes that we're refastening onto this bulkhead, we've drilled out the remains of the rivets and everything. And these two rivets are really fastened really well, so we're not dealing with them. But we need to kind of change our approach a little bit, because underneath the body is where the actual head of the rivet is, and you can't get the rivet gun on the back side. So what we're going to need to do is use the rivet gun on the shank side of this side. And if we look at these closely, we'll see that they're actually rounded a little bit. So what they did is they used something like this, that on this side with the gun, to actually hammer it and use a bucking bar on the back side. So we kind of need to just do a reversal. So instead of having the gun underneath, the gun will be on the shank side of the rivet, and then the bucking bar will be on the head of the rivet. So going through these, it looks like this diameter, this radius onto this one works a little bit better. So we're actually going to put this in our gun, and then we're going to look underneath and try to come up with a scheme for a bucking bar. Okay, this rivet here is in really good shape, and it's fastened really well. And you can look under here, this is the tunnel we're dealing with. So you really don't have much room. We just set a rivet into this hole, and if you start looking, a bucking bar of this size will actually be able to get up in there pretty well and use our leverage to actually hold this in place while we buck it. And you can see that there's no way that you could actually get a gun up in there. I just barely can get this bucking bar in here, but it's good because it gets up in there. You get a lot of mass, and you can kind of put your hand on the here to put some force on during the bucking stage of the rivet. So this is what we're going to use. I thought it would be good to show kind of the process. We've got this vise with an anvil on the back and a flat, so you can kind of use that as your bucking bar. And we're going to use the tool that we did, and just kind of, you can see what happens when you do this. You know, you end up getting a mushroom, and you see how it expands so much more onto the thing. And that's pretty much what we're doing when we do this process. Okay, so we get set up. What I like to do is just use a bar that just kind of press it, and then you ready? Yep. So he's on the back, and how's it looking? Still tight?
A little bit of space, but...
Okay, well push it if you can. Okay. There we go. Okay. Next one. Okay. ready?
Yep.
All right. Next one.
It's not going through.
There you go. You're through now.
It's kind of out a bit.
Yeah, can you just kind of brace it and kind of put some pressure on it? There you go. Yeah, that's good. You okay?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, pressure?
Yep.
A little more pressure? Okay. Now we get that other one on the other side now, right?
Alright. Actually, go with the last one more time.
Okay.
Okay. Bit more.
That's good. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, looks good. And that's all there is to it. All right, we also have a sill panel floor clip. There's a cover that snaps into them that basically the wires go in underneath. We're actually going to rivet that in place. And this one, the head's up on top, and we're going to use the bucking bar on top and use the air hammer underneath to basically set this one. So you'll actually be able to see the bucking bar up on top. You all set? Okay. Looks good. And that's that. So, thanks for watching.